Originally, when I was doing a lot of blog posts, I always had my email opt-in at the bottom of every blog post. And then like in my YouTube captions, I always say like, if you want to be a part of my free community, opt into my newsletter. And what I use my newsletter for, or my email list for, is like more personal stories. And I always want my email list to feel like they're getting exclusive access to me in a way that social media isn't. And I think it's important to position your newsletter or your email list in a way that feels exclusive or intimate. My favorite thing in subject lines, whether it's someone that I'm reading or a subject line that I'm sending out, like I love there to be an element of suspense, but then also kind of like an invitation to like, y'all, I gotta break down something pretty special. Even if you're gonna sell something in that email, never make it like, final day sale, 50% off if you wanna buy this last shit. I never open those emails, never. Like, stop, no one wants to be sold to. Everyone loves a sale, but no one wants to be sold to. So you cannot position everything as like a money grab. So I always start with like, man, here are the 3 quotes that just really made my week better. And I'll share the 3 quotes, maybe some small stories. And it's like, by the way, it'll always be in the PS. And I learned this strategy a couple years ago, but a lot of people who don't have time to read emails will scroll to the bottom and read the PS. So make the PS bold, and then that's where you put in the sale. Like if you scrolled all the way to the bottom, I don't blame you, but here's what I talked about in the email. And there you can put like a little casual link, like never make it the main focus. And I say never, but that's just my strategy. Oh, this one's great. This is what I've been looking for. So the subject is your annual reminder to unsubscribe. It was around Black Friday, so I said Happy African American Friday. But I had launched a new digital product, and during Black Friday, like all Black Friday emails look the same. And so instead of mine saying, Black Friday sale, 50% off, I was just like, here's your annual reminder to unsubscribe. Because everyone gets emails for Black Friday. So that's usually when people are cleaning up their list. And so I wanted it to be kind of like a joke about how you're probably gonna unsubscribe from this. But a lot of people would respond whenever I would say this subject, I'm never leaving Glo, I love you too much. So this is one way that I would do emails. I would kind of like make a joke about how it's like, I would be like punny or witty about something during the year. That's a fun way to sell. That like honors the fact that like I don't want to do any gimmicks. My marketing is anti-marketing. Like I want people to come to me and be like, no, where do I buy? Not like buy this. It's like, no, Glo, where do I buy? I need it and I want it. And I feel like in that way, people feel like it's a full body yes. I never want to guilt or shame, use scarcity tactics, scarcity marketing, 3 left and final chance. It's like, no, like here's the facts, here's the truth. And if you'd like more information, you can click this button. If not, here's a book that might help you anyway. I love doing that. If I'm selling something, I always say, and if this course isn't for you, here's a book that changed my life, like go check it out. So people don't feel like I only care about them if they're giving me money. It's like, no, like you don't have to buy this course. I don't want all 12,000 subscribers to buy my course. It's like, here, like this is information anyway. I probably send 1 email a month or 1 email every other week, because maybe it was during the pandemic where it really started, where people just felt overwhelmed by the information and the influx. And I wanted my emails to be a breath of fresh air, not like, oh, I didn't read your last one, Glo, and now you have another. Like, I always want people to feel like, oh, thank you, I've been waiting for this one. And so I try to find a cadence that's not too frequent, but it's often enough to where you don't forget about me. So every 3 weeks, once a month, and I always try to make it like there's something valuable you're gonna learn from this. But that's gonna be different for everyone. I have emails that I'm subscribed to and they send it once a week, but it's like you can finish it in 3 minutes. If you asked me how much content I was posting on average per week, maybe a year ago, it would be in the 20s. I would say now it's like daily posts across 3 platforms. So, no, sorry, and YouTube. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then YouTube. YouTube is once or twice a week. Oh, and then my podcast. Yeah, maybe that's once a week. It really depends on what I'm doing and where I'm at. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty scattered and I need probably a content manager to be like, Glo, this week we're doing this, and not just me posting off of my own willpower, because then it's gonna be random. Depending on how I feel, I either have a physical content calendar or I use my digital one. The physical one is more of like, I think it's important to have some type of analog style of working, but it's like you just brain dump questions. And I think when it comes to content creation, thinking in terms of questions is better than just like topics, like, okay, entrepreneurship or great books to read for productivity. It's like, no, what are the top 5 books for productivity? It's like when you can think of content in questions, it allows you to tap into a different part of your brain. So a lot of my original content ideas, I'll just write them in question format. And I'll usually only focus on 2 platforms at a time. So green, this shade of green was for Instagram, this shade of green was for YouTube, and then I had light blue for TikTok. And you can see that I've removed all of the TikTok. Screw TikTok, I'm just kidding. Okay, and so what my digital content calendar looks like, I use Asana and ClickUp, but Asana is probably my favorite type of structure. So there's just 3 columns, and the first one is to do, the middle one is in progress, and then the third one is posted. So I'll do some type of like variation of blogs, IGTVs, YouTube videos, and Instagram posts. And sometimes I'll separate it by like the category of the content I want to create. It's a very simple approach and it allows me to have some sort of a plan. But I will be honest, there are times where my best content comes in real time. I'll create it the night before or the morning of, and it's fresh top of mind. And so it's like very honest and it's very raw. And I try to tell people not to overthink the process. If you are trying to like create a plan, this massive plan of mapping out your content for like the next 3 months, like good luck, because I don't even do that. I just try to figure out like what's relevant, what's top of mind now, what makes sense. And yeah, I think I have 9 color variations of different content projects that I'm working on at any given moment. So 7 could be abandoned and 2 could be active. So this is like a system that I created to help me at least get started. But to be honest, most of my content is created in real time. And for me, that brings me the most joy because I genuinely like love the process. Like posting in real time, writing my captions in real time. It makes me feel active. It makes me feel like I'm like present and like, yeah, it just feels very authentic to me.